Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between Lorelei and CowGoMoo here on Scrap Station. Apparently, Lorelei, Lorelei? I guess I'll just call him Lorelei. That's easier for me to say. Lorelei not too happy being forced to play against CowGoMoo. Obviously know who CowGoMoo is. Scrap Station is one of those maps where a lot can really happen because you guys spawn so close to each other, and as there is just a small chasm right here, it is very impossible to go air, and quick air is a definite issue. So you should either try to mass very early and then try to take that out, or you should try to go for quick air and build up enough base defense when your opponent does try to mass you. CowGoMoo not building off on that front door, probably realizing that the supply depot and those barracks are not going to be really an effective way to try to block off this choke point. This choke point is in fact so large. I think that this map does not favor Terran normally, but because it is against a Protoss, with the way EMP is currently working, I'm expecting some great EMP usage coming in from CowGoMoo. We'll see how Lorelei decides to respond to it. The typical problem is that Ghosts with EMP Shockwave can so easily remove the shields of an Immortal that the Marauders are in fact able to deal enough damage to take them out. At the same time, the Immortals will be dealing an amazing 50 damage towards those Marauders. So Immortals dealing 50 damage toward those. Wow, I'm stumbling over my words today. Excuse me, let me turn up my volume a little bit and perhaps that will slow me down as I hear myself think. Incoming, we have a probe now trying to fight back against an SCV as my computer freezes. Probe now, SCV trying to come back in, and wow, things just not going well my way today. CowGoMoo now moving out in order to do some scouting, going to scout with that SCV, gonna come back around that corner. Probe now deciding to doing some chase as well. Taking a look over here, Command Center now upgrading to Orbital Command, as CowGoMoo is sitting on 18 over 19 food, so that Orbital Command is in fact just a little bit late. We'll see what this Marine decides to do and what exactly CowGoMoo's strategy is in fact going to be. Sitting on 80 gas, perhaps he's going to go for a factory. That's the only thing that I can really think that he would try to go. I was going to be expecting a Ghost Academy, and in fact it is going to be a factory. So now a factory coming in, CowGoMoo lifting off of barracks, going to go ahead and plant it back down, perhaps get a reactor core in order to produce more Hellions. Taking a look at the space over here, we have the Cybernetics core on the backside of that base, and also upgrading that warp gate ability, so the gateways will in fact be able to produce a lot of units. SCV just running around the map, just trying to do as much scouting as possible. Pylons all throughout the map as well, in order to give us the largest amount of scouting range. Zealot just trying to chase, and that SCV will in fact be able to double backing around. Taking a look, a secondary gateway now being built by CowGoMoo, or sorry, not CowGoMoo, Lorelei. So CowGoMoo does in fact see this double gateway, and a double gateway generally means that he will not be going for that robotics facility as early. That robotics facility is in fact going to be delayed, as now we have warp gates now being upgraded as well. Taking a look at the production, with the robotics facility delayed by about 15 seconds, taking a look at the production, we do have a factory now attached with a reactor core, so that reactor core definitely being used to produce double Hellions. Those Hellions are going to in fact be used to just do as much harassment as possible, and a starport now being put down as well. Taking a look at the strategy, most likely Lorelei is thinking that there's going to be a large number of Marauders. So CowGoMoo may deviate from his standard strategy and not go mass infantry like we've seen earlier. He is in fact putting down a tech lab. So is the starport going to lift off and use that tech lab, or is he actually going to start producing some Marauders? Want to go ahead and take a look back at over on this part of the map as my computer continues to freeze. Hellions quickly taking down that last probe, and these units now once again moving back out. So 2 Hellions going to be moving in, going to find a couple Stalkers and a Sentry in position ready to stop them. So one good force field may just be able to push this whole entire attack back, and those Hellions trying to move and attack against those Zealots. And here we have this fight coming back in, and those Hellions now moving and attacking, trying to deal as much damage, and now hiding off in the smoke, coming back over here, making sure that there is in fact no expansion, and now CowGoMoo setting up an expansion of his own. So this is abnormal play coming from CowGoMoo. We do have a medevac now being produced, and a medevac with that reactor core on that factory as well. So perhaps we'll have a 4 Hellion drop on that backside. That will disrupt a lot of the mining. Observer now being produced, so an observer being used and wanting to wanting to scout out. An observer is going to come in and see this Hellion base, and gonna see in fact that this medevac is gonna be picking up some of these units. So it looks like Lorelei should be in fact able to respond just in time. Taking a look over here, what is that medevac doing? The medevac now coming into the middle. Really not quite sure where he's going. Perhaps, oh, he's gonna come back around on that far side. We have pylons still being produced by Lorelei, an observer now moving out. So that medevac moving in a very well, not a very very roundabout way to get into the back of that base. Does not want to run into any of those issues, or run into any perhaps observers that may be floating around. There was already one observer in the base, but because of that far drop on that left-hand side, CowGoMoo is now going to be running in, and he's just going to run into a bunch of stalkers, and things definitely not looking good here. Able to take down one probe, able to take down another probe. He's able to take down 3 probes, so he's able to at least take down 3 probes and in fact deal some damage to these units, as those Hellions now desperately trying to run back away and losing 2 Hellions for 3 to 4 probes. Taking a look at the unit kills, perhaps what, 6 kills on one and 1 kill on the other. There was some earlier kills as well. Observer now of Lorelei coming in and gonna see this command center. The command center now upgrading to that orbital command, and that orbital command will in fact be able to call down mules. Not as much defense as that planetary fortress. We'll see how that works out for him. We still have a single medevac on this high side over here. This medevac perhaps just trying to do some scouting, perhaps trying to do a little bit of a feint, trying to suggest that he is going to be doing some dropping, and getting those stalkers to overcommit and at least stay in the base. He's able to force Lorelei to stay in his base. But over here we have a warp prism now warping in a large number of stalkers. Hellions trying to come in, trying to push back against these units, but really not going to work out that well. Perhaps moving into that splash range a little bit better as those Hellions now continue to move back away. Warp prism picking up as many of those stalkers as it can and getting pulled away. So one warp prism picking up a fair amount of stalkers. So 4 stalkers being taken away, and we'll see if that warp prism decides to come back and drop again, or if he in fact is going to perhaps warp in some more units as well. Quickly coming back in, and in come those warp prisms. Warp prism trying to take down that last SCV. Going to be able to take down these more Hellions. Hellions now trying to come back in. No blink research. And while Lorelei just doing a very effective drop against CowGoMoo, CowGoMoo having no way to really attack that warp prism as it is an air unit. No Marines, no Vikings yet. Is he producing Vikings now? Yeah, finally producing Vikings. He did in fact go triple barracks with Tech Lab. So triple barracks with Tech Lab, producing as many units as he can. We still have this observer sitting over here. Coming back over here, an observer sitting on that high side, and a very large number of Hellions and Marauders. So this is a Hellion Marauder army. The Hellions most likely there to try to counteract those Zealots, if there are in fact any Zealots, while the Marauders are there to try to counteract those Stalkers. No Ghosts though, so no Ghosts being used. And now we have the Hellions trying to take down these Destructible Rocks. Destructible Rocks down to 1100 hit points, but we have a Warp Prism once again coming back on this far side and forcing all the units to once again pull back away. So CowGoMoo pretty much just dancing around the map as Lorelei doing a good job of just effectively harassing him and not allowing him to reach his destination and try to put any pressure on Lorelei's base. Stay tuned for part 2 and the conclusion of this replay between CowGoMoo and Lorelei here on Scrap Station.